All right, we are going to discuss how to draw support and resistance on the chart. The last time we talked about drawing support and resistance, but on a whiteboard. So now we're going to put that information on the chart. All right. So to make it simpler for other people, if you don't understand where to put your support and resistance, some people can even put their support and resistance on the line chart. So what you want to look for is you want to turn your chart into a line chart, right? And then on the line chart, you are looking for peaks. So an area where there are peaks, right? That's areas where price is reversing. See, peak, peak. There's a peak there. There's a peak there. All right. Even if you look at the bottom, we have peak. We have a peak there, right? We have a peak there. If you look where price is it right now, we have a peak here. We have a peak that looks like it's forming. We have a peak. We have a peak. We have a peak. We have a peak. So these are areas that we can say, okay, they are good areas to draw our support and resistances, because those are the areas that price have been rejecting a lot of times. All right. So you're looking for areas that price is rejected or respected for a lot of times, and those are your support and resistances. All right. So you can use the line chart, but you have to learn how to use your candlesticks, because your candlesticks are the ones that you will be using to trade. All right. So using our candlesticks, we talked about this area and we saw peaks, right? When you look with your eyes and you're looking at these candlesticks, you can see price went down. You can see by the week, price went down, right? But it came up, it respected, and it closed above this line, right? You can see by this week, price went down, but it came up, it respected, and it closed above this line. So this area becomes our support and resistance. All right, because it's support as long as price is above, and it's resistance as long as price is below. All right. So that's an area that we can look out for on the monthly time frame. Also, always draw your support and resistance close to where price is at. It's unnecessary for you to draw your support and resistance, let's say maybe around this area. I mean, price is over here, and this is a monthly chart. It's going to take you months for price to actually reach this area. So this area where price is at right now, that's the area that you want to play with. This is the area that we are looking at as our for our support and resistance. All right. So since price has been bearish and now we're getting some sort of a rejection, you might also want to highlight something that might come in handy in the future, and that would be our week view target. This is a monthly week view target. All right. Now let's move on to the weekly time frame. It's unnecessary to have 10,000 zones over there because you're not going to use those zones. And the more zones you have, the most likely that you have some invalid zones. So you need to have zones, a fewer zones, zones that you can actually trust, zones that you can actually use. All right. So now on the weekly time frame, we all know that if price makes a breakout, it has to retest. So now if we look at this information we have right here, we had a low, right? And then price broke out. Could this be the retest? Question mark. So what we need to do, we're not going to put a zone now because we have clean traffic, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to move on to the daily time frame. We're going to move on to the daily time frame. And then on the daily time frame, we're going to look for an area that price might reject. All right, an area that price might reject would be right here, right there. All right, because for price to go higher, price is to break above this high. And if you look to our left, that's the last bullish candle before price went down, right? In the last bullish candle before price went down, what does that tell us? That means that this is an order block. So if there is an order block here, that means there is a resistance. So could this be the retest the price is looking for price to push lower? So now that's what we need to see. So you can put your zone right there, and then you can even highlight that's what you're expecting your price to reject if you want. But this is our daily resistance. All right. Now, since we've done the daily time frame, we have to move on to the 4-hour time frame. Now, on the 4-hour time frame, what do you have on the 4-hour time frame? You also do have some sort of a resistance right here. Now, remember the support and resistance that you draw on the 4-hour time frame, on the 1-hour time frame, or even on the 30-hour time frames, if you know how to handle support and resistance on smaller time frames, that's also okay. However, remember, these are support and resistance that can always be adjusted when needed. All right. So, for example, we have price moving higher right now, right? And we have price, let's say price breaks out and it goes higher, right? That means price would have created a low right here. And then we can take out this resistance, and then we can see, okay, is price going to continue going higher? And then you can see if price is going to go higher and then create a new low. All right, so that's what we'll be looking for. So we'll be looking to see if price is going to continue going higher, right? And then maybe retest if needed, and see if price is going to create a new low, and that new low will be our resistance, and that new high that new low will be our support, and that new high will be our resistance. All right. So now, since we have our support and resistance on the 4-hour time frame, we can move on to the 1-hour time frame. All right. Now let's move on to the 1-hour time frame. On the 1-hour time frame, we have a high, right? So you can see the resistance that we drew on the 4-hour time frame. It makes sense. What we need to put is a low. So price made a low over here. So what you're going to use, how you're going to use this information is, okay, since price looks like it's been rejecting, right? If price gives you a clear rejection on our resistance, yeah, expecting price to reach our support as your first target, and if it continues to go lower, a second target. All right, and if it gives you some sort of a retest and then it comes to push higher, you have your first target and your second target being our daily resistance over there. All right, so that's what you'd be looking to play out. All right, so some people can even highlight their targets. Now, this is also a support and resistance. That's your target. So we normally use our targets with support and resistance. We don't just say, okay, we're just going to put our target over there, or use pips. Some people use pips. That's also okay. However, using clean traffic is always a good way to have good targets, because you can see we have clean traffic, right? And then we have a rejection. We have a rejection and a breakout. Remember, if price is below, it's a resistance. If price goes above, it's now a support. We have a rejection. All right, this is also a target because we have a rejection. We have a rejection and we have clean traffic. Even if you look at the higher time frame, let's say price gives you a pullback and then pushes higher, we have a rejection, but we also have clean traffic. That's why we are saying this could be your first target, and then you can expect price to go higher to our daily resistance. All right, for now, let's end there and see how you can take advantage of this information, and then we will add more information if everyone understands. All right, that's it for now.